guilty today for lying to the FBI.
Flynn knew exactly how the system worked. He knew exactly what the intel world had been up to. He understood its funding. They had to get rid of Flynn.
There was a moment where I just felt like I was drowning. And so I'm in there with these other political appointees. They're all supposed to go in there and tell what they believe to be the truth. What they did was they took my assessment and they wanted me to change it. And I was like, I'm not changing it.
He was, by definition, the most dangerous possible person for Donald Trump to hire.
President Obama said, but I do have one specific recommendation. Stay away from Michael Flynn. He's bad news.
Over time, instead of being pounded down below the surface of the ocean, we started to fight. I'm now above the surface. Wow. Every time I see that, I'm like, wow, because, we did the filming a year ago.
Yeah.
And phenomenal job filming.
Yeah.
And when I
Great.
see that, and that's not, wait till you see the movie. Wait for your audience. I think we're live, right?
We
Wait
are
for your
live.
audience
Yeah.
to see this movie. I think people are going to be,
Yeah.
I think people are they're going to learn a lot. There's a lot of rawness to this. There's definitely emotion in this movie. And even that trailer teases sort of what's next, what next. So I'm rising to the surface, right? And I use in the movie, because I surf and I've surfed damn near my whole life.
Yeah.
I use the metaphor of drowning and surfing and wiping out, and so there's pieces and parts of the movie that bring people back to that kind of an analogy of life, right? Because
Sure.
our country is like, we feel like we're drowning right now. We feel like our country is like going rapidly down this river.
Yeah.
And
It does. It does. It feels like we're on like a 3-wave hold down. I don't know if I told you I'm a surfer too,
I
Jennifer.
didn't know that. No, I
Yeah.
don't think you ever did.
Yeah. So that's part of my life. And I actually moved out to Hawaii for a time to surf and traveled through Indonesia. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's pretty cool.
I know. I
I
don't
lived
think
in Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for 3 years. That's interesting. So,
yeah.
Where did you live in Hawaii?
I was right.
What island?
I was right in Waikiki on Oahu, and so I surfed a great deal of time out at Pops in front of the Sheraton. You might know that break. I'm a longboarder, stand-up paddle surfer, so that was a good spot for me. But yeah, I spent a lot of time. I went all over the island, but
Sure.
not so much on the North Shore. I surfed Poena Point some and Haleiwa,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're familiar, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. And Haleiwa Beach Park,
Yeah.
that used to be my hangout because I could
Yeah.
be down at Haleiwa Beach Park. Hell, I had a convertible
Yep.
Volkswagen Bug, and I would stick my surfboard in
Yeah.
the back. My wife and I would throw the kids in the back. We'd hustle down to Haleiwa.
Were you at
There
Schofield?
was giant surf down there.
Yeah, were you at Schofield?
Schofield. I
Yeah.
was stationed at Schofield Barracks.
Yeah.
25th Infantry.
I
Yeah.
used to love to go watch the Groms out at Haleiwa, right? Because that's where
Yeah.
they all cut their teeth, before they go up to rock piles and get out at Pipe. So it's amazing. I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm not there now, but it was a
Yeah, I know.
tremendous time to be there. And for those who are not quite caught up to speed here, we have General Flynn with us on the show today. General Flynn was the national security advisor under President Trump before all of the unpleasantness that took place at the hands of the deep state and the Democrats. He has a film coming out that goes through a lot of that. It has been said of General Flynn, not only does he know where the bodies are buried, but he knows who buried them. And this is why they keep coming after him. It's just a pleasure to have you here. And we could talk story about surfing for quite a long time.
Yeah.
We'll have to put that on hold because we got some serious things coming up here.
Yeah.
happening right now. Let's talk about the film though. I want people to know
Yeah.
what's happening and where they can get a hold of this film, either for their own copy or actually see it in person, because you are doing a tour over dozens of cities around the country,
Right.
starting in a week
Yeah,
from
next Friday, a week from
yeah,
this Friday. So
yeah,
so people can go to the website is flynnmovie.com, flynnmovie.com. Yeah. And wherever it says there, you click on that and then
yep,
boom, it'll show all of the places where we're going to be traveling to. I think we have, in fact, I just got off of another update that I've been holding every week. We're going to end up in about 35 cities.
yeah,
In I think we're touching actually 40 states, and that we start the 5th of April is the very first one. That's kind of the opening premiere
in Florida,
in
right?
Venice, Florida, and then we're going to travel all around the country. We're going to go as far west as Southern Cal, up to the north west, up into we have 2 locations up in the state of Washington. We're going Idaho. I mean, we're going like that
Yeah,
part of the country,
yeah,
back down into the Midwest. We're going up into the New Englands, back down into New York, back down the Eastern Seaboard. I mean, it's a really, I'm really, really
yeah,
excited. I'll be at every single one of those when I'm calling kind of an in-person live experience,
mhm,
and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about being able to tell this story. It's very, very, it's very emotional. I think people will see. They'll meet members of my family through this movie. Tucker Carlson is in it. He plays a pretty predominant role because of the relationship that I have with him now. Not necessarily the relationship that I had with him before, because before our relationship was a little bit different.
yeah,
And then of course Devin Nunes, who used to be people know Devin Nunes from True Social, but really he was Congressman Devin Nunes and also chairman of the Intelligence Committee in Congress. And I met Devin the first time I ever met Devin. I was actually in Iraq, and I was over there in Joint Special Operations Command, and Devin came over on a congressional delegation, and they were told to come visit me. And when they came and visited me, we were doing doing a lot. I mean, and we were actually being very successful in what we were doing, what we were asked to do, and so they were looking at us like, well, why are you guys doing so successful, and many of these other organizations weren't, and it's just because it's the way we operated. We just operated differently, and so Devin Nunes and I have known each other for probably the better part of 2 decades.
wow,
And then there's some others in the movie. Lee Smith is another person that's in the
yeah,
movie. Lee Smith, who you know, but
The Plot
Lee,
Against the President.
yeah, he wrote the very
Yeah,
very exceptional book, Plot
yes,
Against the President, and that was turned into a documentary.
yes,
And it's a great documentary. So this movie is really 2 parts. The first part is really about my military career, but really, why me? I kind of use the way to describe the
mhm,
first half, sort of why me? Why was I? Why did they begin to target me
right,
later on? And how did I get to becoming the head of DIA and the Defense Intel Agency? And why did I get to that level, right?
yeah,
And then the second half is really the persecution. We really dig into the details and a lot of things that people have never been told. I've never told this story anyplace else. I've never been on I've been on a lot of podcasts in the
yeah,
last few years. There are things in this movie that will be the first time that people have ever heard them, and
wow,
and that's really, and some of them are really powerful. Some of them will be like, "Holy crap, man!" I don't know if I could have done that, but I did. I did. I say I did. My family and I did.
sure,
And,
yeah,
so
yeah,
anyway, I think that my wife comes across really, really powerfully. I think if there's people that have never met her, because Lori's a very kind of quiet person,
mhm,
but she's very she's very protective of our family. But of course, in the movie is it's a very intimate look inside of my family. So, and I wanted people to see that. I wanted people to get an intimate look inside of my family, yeah, they can pre-order the DVD. So while you got the DVD up there, Mary,
yeah.
For anybody that pre-orders the DVD, and we're still #1 on Amazon, which is amazing. If the DVD is the only place where you're going to find additional footage. Okay, the live streaming, which we'll have coming out pretty soon. The store is going to be the store will be opened up either this afternoon or tomorrow for additional apparel and stuff like that. But the DVD you can pre-order, and they're going to start getting shipped here pretty soon. But the DVD has what we call B-roll about Tucker, myself, Devin, Lee Smith, and a few others, and it's really good. I mean, I've reviewed every bit of it, and it's like you're only going to get that on the DVD. So the DVDs are not only it's not only a good thing to get for yourself, but it's actually a pretty good gift. And I honestly, I wasn't sure how many people still had DVDs. I mean, I do. I have one. I talked to a guy last night. And he said he owns 4 of them, and I'm like, God, you own 4 of them?
I think we're going to need it because, we don't know how much we can watch online. And
exactly.
Yeah, people are getting a little more old school. I don't know if I'm going to resurrect the 8 tracks, but
I still have 8 tracks. I'm out of 8 tracks, but yeah.
We have VHS still. Some I came across the other day. So this link up here, guys, this goes directly to the website. And so if you don't want to buy off of those other big box stores, you can buy directly from generalflynn.com. I have a promo code Mary Grace, so you can we get credit here on the show if you do it that way.
Exactly.
And then
help Mary out. Help
Mary, you're also
good.
You're also, if you want to buy the 5th generation warfare books, you can do that. They have some bundles. You get a challenge coin. So there's a lot there. There's really great gifts that you can can give as well. And we're here to let you know about this, but primarily, see, look, that's me with General Flynn. He signed my book. That was a couple weeks ago down in Tulsa. And so, we want you guys to have these resources, not just to sell things. This is really part of American history. What is happening here and what's happened up until now with General Flynn, with President Trump, these are really critical times for people to understand and preserve history. And so that's what you're going to see in these DVDs, right, General Flynn? It's
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the DVDs and many, all the books that I have as an example, what I try to do is not entertain. I really try to educate.
Yeah.
But I try to educate in a way that is that grabs hold of your heart, right? And this movie will do that. It definitely will. I mean, I told a friend last week I said, bring a box of tissue and bring your angry towel, because you're going to have those two emotions. You're going to get emotional about it, especially when you hear from some of my family, and especially my wife and my son. But you're also going to get angry at what you hear about some of the things that you hear that the government does to all of us. I mean, it's on public display right now with Trump, but I don't think people realize the inside workings of the kinds of things that you have to go through. And that's what I try to bring out in the movie. I did this backwards, and I don't know if I've said this to anybody else, but I did this backwards. I didn't write a book and then we did a movie. I did the movie first because I wanted the movie to come out. I am writing a book about this whole experience.
Okay.
That book will be out eventually. It'll be on the website, and we'll have that out here, probably another month or two. But the other books that are part of this movie are the 5th generation warfare series. There's 2 of them now, and we're about to bring out a 3rd one called the 5th Citizen's Guide to 5th Generation Warfare: The Role of the Church, which I think people are going to be blown away by. And then there's another book that you'll find on the website called Letter to America. Letter to America is really the essence of why I finally decided to do the movie, that book. And it's a very easy book to read. It's only like 60 or 70 pages. It's and it's a love letter. It's kind of a love letter to America. I received, and in the movie I do talk about this. I received so many letters and basically items of support while my family and I were going through this persecution. And so I get in the habit of writing everybody back, and I did, and I still do to this day. But I just couldn't write them all back because there was literally hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
people from
Yeah.
all over the country that wrote me letters, and I wrote them all back. I wrote them all back. But there was even more than that happened. So I just felt like I felt like I'm writing a book. So I called it Letter to America. And so if you get a chance to pick up a copy of that, please do. And it really is, as one woman who I sent a copy to told me, who was a big supporter. She wrote me back after reading the book, and she says I was in tears reading it, and she goes, I felt like I was, reading a love letter to me. And I said, well, that's a great way to put it, because that's kind of what it is. And in it, I talk about some of the things that America needs to do to overcome this vile evil that we're facing. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't say it any other way.
You're a good writer.
While I got you, because I'm looking at some of the texts that are coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I noticed one of them said about somebody's mask or something. Somebody had made one of the gals that wrote in, looks like she was the one that made the net mask.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was pretty funny.
For Timothy Shea, yeah. General Flynn, I just wanted to say, I get your newsletter, and you're such a good writer. It's people put out newsletters all the time, and you kind of scroll through them, but I really like reading your stuff, because it's just I can tell that your heart is in it. So,
Well, I was, honestly, I'll tell you, because I just finished writing another letter that I'm going to put out today. This is it right here. It's only about 780 or so words, and I'm going to put it out today. And that one has to do with fifth generation warfare. The last newsletter that I put out, and I don't, I need to promote them more, I guess. But that last one that I did, that really talked about our presidents and courage. I don't know if you remember, if you remember seeing that one. I talk about courage, and I talk about Washington and Lincoln and Kennedy and Martin Luther King, Thomas Paine, and people that in time in our history had to take a courageous stand. So this one that'll go out today, this is about fifth generation warfare and irregular warfare, particularly for our law enforcement. Yeah. Yes,
your
that's
last
it.
one.
Deliver the truth. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a beautiful one.
So get on the mailing list. All you have to do is go to the website anywhere. Just go here.
Yeah,
and any of the books. If you link to this link, guys, you can find any of the merchandise or books through this link on the website, and then you use promo code Mary Grace. But the writing is so good. This morning you put out a post. I want to talk about this because there was a post, a really important post, having to do with a current event that has taken over the news cycle as of this morning, and this is the container ship that took down the Francis Scott Key Bridge in the port of Baltimore. Ironically, my nephew just moved back from there. Like, he was living at a marina just on the other side of that bridge. Crazy. Like, he was just on that bridge on Sunday night, and I'm so thankful that he's back.
It's unbelievable tragedy.
Yeah, it is. And so General, just for those who haven't caught up with the news today, at about just after 1 a.m. this morning in Baltimore, Maryland, there is a bridge called the Francis Scott Key Bridge. It is also known as I-695. It's a major artery from the south to the north. And it is also a major artery for moving hazardous materials across there. And also, that is the entrance to the port of Baltimore, which is a major shipping port, specifically for automobile deliveries, but also a number of other industries. And so this is really critical. General Flynn posted something that is in line with what you've been saying on recent interviews, and that is that you feel that this is a black swan event. And so I have a lot of listeners who are questioning, what does that mean? What is a black swan event? With your background and your contacts in the intelligence world, can you give us some insight into a comment like that when it is linked to an incident such as the one I described?
Yeah. So first of all, if people want to follow me on X, my X tagline there is at Jen Flynn, GEN
Yep.
Flynn. So my world is a world of analysis, intelligence, scenario development, strategy, and all kinds of things, right? So I mean, and everything that sort of surrounds those huge, monumental type issues. So lately, because of all the craziness that's been happening, and there's a lot of things that we can predict. There's a lot of things that we can know. A black swan, and the phrase black swan is not a military term per se. And I say that on the post, on the X post. Black swan is not a military term. Black swan comes out of the world of finance, where you have a financial collapse that was not imagined. Nobody thought it was going to happen, right? And so this incident with this bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, was not. This is a black swan event, and the reason is because we would expect a terrorist attack. We'd expect a Russian invasion of Ukraine. We expect the Israelis to attack the Gaza Strip. We expect missiles to be shot from the Houthi rebels. We expect, blah, 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 right? What we didn't expect was to get up this morning and find out that in one of our most safe and secure methodologies of transiting commerce would hit a bridge and completely destroy it.
Yeah.
Now, so let me just describe some of the elements of why this is a black swan. Number one, our commercial harbors, ports, and bays are some of the most secure, monitored, and controlled areas of operations on our coastlines, right? Gulf Coast, East Coast, West Coast, Atlantic, or off the Alaska coast. There's harbors up there, Juneau as an example. So these are places that are secure, and there are protocols to be able to transit these harbors, right? I mean, you cannot. There's more discipline, and there's more rigor, and there's more protocols, and there are more procedures to move a ship through a harbor than there is to fly a plane out of Atlanta, Hartsfield Airport. I mean, when you get on a plane, a lot of your listeners have been on planes. A lot of your listeners probably haven't been on cargo ships. I have, or on other ships, other vessels. But when you go to get on a plane, before that plane backs away from the gate, those pilots have to go through all kinds of stuff. Even before they get on the plane, they have to have had crew rest. They've got it. That means that they have to have had. They couldn't have been up drinking all night, right? Although some of them probably do. They have to have had a certain amount of crew rest. And then they come in and they check in. And then they, many cases, they get random breathalyzed. And then they get on the plane, to jump through a couple of other procedures. They then get on the plane, and then they go through a whole set of protocols and procedures before they can even start the engines. And once they get everybody seated and they back away, now there's another set of procedures. Well, our ships in these harbors, in these big commercial harbors, they have to go through all of that. So in my post, I said at the end of the posting, I said start with the harbor master, because there's going to be a massive investigation. I said start with the harbor master. Find out from the harbor master first if everything was followed, if everything was done to the letter of the law. Okay. Now, so put that aside. This bridge, I got up really early this morning. I started listening to it because so many people are pinging me.
Yeah.
Hey, do you see what happened? So this harbor, Baltimore Harbor, is also a major military harbor. Okay. There's a lot of activities for our military that are inside the confines of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. So it's not just a ship that takes a bunch of cars and the harbor moves cars back and forth. There's a lot of things that go on up in that part of the country. And also what you have to do is you have to immediately immediately tell all other harbors that we have, okay, all other harbors that we have worldwide, but certainly nationwide, to immediately, stop all engines and check, because we don't know if this was a terrorist attack or not. That cannot be taken off the table, okay? That cannot be taken off the table. So that's important. All right. So let's talk about symbology, okay? Francis Scott Key Bridge. Francis Scott Key, that bridge, because right away people are going to go, oh, that's an old infrastructure. That bridge was built in 1977. Bridges are supposed to last a lot longer than a few years. So that bridge is not an old bridge. Like, I've been over that bridge plenty of times. That bridge is used by a lot of people. The Baltimore Harbor to Washington, D.C., to places like Newport News and Norfolk, Virginia, which is a large military installations.
Yes.
And also Philadelphia Naval Station. Okay, Philadelphia has its own ports that come down in through the various waterways to go out into the Atlantic. These are massive, massive military and national security operations. Never mind what they do for commercial traffic. So we cannot take off the table that this was a potentially a terrorist incident. Okay, if it was an accident, something bad happened, and we all saw the videos now online where the ship, all the electricity, all the lights went out, the smokestacks blowing black smoke.
Made a sharp turn.
Made a very sharp turn. The port side anchor was let loose. I mean, maybe to drag. I don't know.
Yeah.
Port is left, starboard is right. So as the ship is coming in and it turns this way, the port side anchor was let loose. Again, whatever was going on, all of this is going to have to be reviewed because of the damage. And so now let's talk about the initial consequences. The initial consequences are what I have found, what I've learned, and this is just from hearing different stories. There was a bridge repair crew on the bridge this morning, doing some repairs, probably doing some, Rust-Oleum or something like that. And it's at least 6, probably men who were on there. I guarantee if they're on there, they probably all got families, and then of course, if you're watching the videos, you're seeing cars going back and forth constantly, right? There's probably 1 million cars, 1 million as a minimum, that cross that bridge every day.
Busy.
That's how busy that is.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out that people's lives were lost. Now, the sad thing is that somebody's not coming home tonight, right? And this is the real tragedy of these kinds of incidents. And I'm not calling this an accident. I'm not calling this an accident until there's a final investigation. This is an incident, and it is a mass casualty incident because there are definitely some fair number of people that lost their lives. Now, symbology or symbolism, because this is the kind of thing, these are the stuff that I think about, right? Francis Scott Key Bridge. Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem. The national anthem was written at I think it was McHenry there, and it was written in the War of 1812. He's the guy that wrote the national anthem, right?
Yes.
And they named a bridge after him. That bridge.
Key.
And so if you're gonna, if I were, let's just consider what I'm saying, that maybe this is something worse. Boy, you couldn't have picked a better symbology to attack, right? Because now Francis Scott Key's name, people are going to say Francis Scott Key Bridge, the bridge, and it's the Francis Scott Key Bridge. It's not the Holland Tunnel, or it's not something else, right? God help us. So now let's put all that to the side, because the other thing that came out in the last 24 hours, that's I got to watch my time with you, Mary.
I know you're on a roll, but I want to honor your time.
Let me tell your audience the other thing, because this is the stuff that I pay attention to, and I do expect more and more people to follow these kinds of things, because these are impacting our lives. So the last 24 hours, the Russian government has come out and stated emphatically that the United Kingdom and the United States were behind the attack in Moscow, the terrorist attack in Moscow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty bad. So if they're saying that, and their FSB, their security services have said that. Now, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I just know what I'm reading and what I'm paying attention to. But what I do know from my experiences in, in the world that I come out of, in the world that I've been trained in, that there are consequences. There are second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth order effects and consequences when we do something really stupid, or when a terrorist attack occurs. So, and now as I look at what happened to the bridge, and they're going to have to do some very, very serious investigation here, and the second, third, fourth order of consequences of that bridge being destroyed. Now people are going to have to transit in all kinds of other ways to get. There's a lot of people that work in that part of this part of the country, from between Baltimore, between Philly, Baltimore, and Washington D.C. and Norfolk, Virginia. There are millions and millions of people that use that require that kind of a transit. So that's number one. The second thing, though, what I just mentioned about Russia, if the Russians are able to show on the world stage that they have proof that the United States or the United Kingdom was behind this terrorist attack, and not, as we heard our illustrious State Department and our illustrious National Security Council spokesperson 30 minutes after the attack, that it was ISIS, right?
Yeah.
My hypothesis, Mary Grace, is that I don't believe it's ISIS. So what I want people to do is prove to me that it was ISIS. Okay.
Yeah.
So my the way that I go into a sort of a hypothesis is that I think about what might be, and then I try to prove that it's not. And during the proving that it's not, I prove that it is. That's a hypothesis, right? That's the antithesis of a hypothesis. I got 3 master's degrees in this stuff. I mean, so these are the things that I try to, as I analyze the kinds of way that my mind works, as I analyze problems, I look at something that seems so obvious, and I look at it from the opposite point of view. Because when something seems so obvious, it probably isn't. It probably isn't.
Right.
It's
That's so good.
not what it actually seems, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anyway, I could go on and on, but
well, you're welcome back anytime. I know you're busy. This is we're getting great comments, great feedback. This is so needed because there is so much speculation going around, and we truly value your input and your insight because of who you are and because of the background that you have. You're not just spitballing, and that's what is so valuable about this. But I do want to honor your time, General.
Let me just do this for you.
Yeah,
Honestly, I do want people to go to flynnmovie.com. I definitely want people to support you, Mary Grace. I love you. You're a wonderful person. You've always been so kind, so supportive. So please tell your audience that get out there and promote it. And when people see this movie, they're going to be blown away. And there's going to be a lot of pissed off people in Washington, D.C. when they see this movie. But that's part of it.
The tour is coming up all over the country. Before you go, you're going to be traveling a lot. I know you travel a lot as it is, but can we just, my audience and I, let us just say a prayer over you and your family as you go into this next phase of this fight, because we're also in election season, and it's just, it's a lot. It's hopefully
dangerous. We're in a dangerous period of history right now. I'm blessed to be alive, Mary. I am blessed to be alive.
And I made a joke about your battle ready haircut, but it's not actually a joke because you are battle ready. Look at his haircut, guys.
Right.
But let's just, we just want to pray for you. And right now, Lord, we come to you with humility and awe, because you are an awesome God. We know that, and we know that you have your hand on General Flynn. You have your hand on the people in his family and in his immediate circle there. All of these people, many of whom will never be known publicly in the fight. We just ask a Psalm 91 prayer over him, that you would hide him in the pinions of your wings, that you would surround him with your warring angels, that his foot would not even stumble on a stone as he makes his way, that you would protect him every part of his journey and every encounter that he has, that you would give him words of wisdom, that you would keep him strong, protect him from illness, injury, accidents, anything that would go wrong that would prevent him from having a successful tour and bring exactly the people that you want into his orbit during this tour. The people that you want him to talk to, bring them. The people that shouldn't be there, keep them away. And just bless him, surround him with your peace, and just anoint him with your love and with continued authority in this realm that you have placed him in. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, General.
God
It's
bless you.
just
Yeah,
an
thank you,
honor
Mary
to have
Grace.
you here. And we will see you back here whenever you want to come on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
people can go to the tour, the flynnmovie.com tour page, see where I'm going to be, and come, buy a ticket and and come on and join us and help me to help this country, because this is how I'm fighting back, folks.
And you're going to be at the Reawaken tour in June up in Michigan as well.
Yep.
Let me put that up here, because when you're at those tours, General Flynn goes out in the mornings when people are in line and meets people and says hello. And if you do buy a ticket, some people get a chance to get a VIP pass to go backstage. There's lots of opportunities to meet the general. And so we want you to take advantage of these opportunities. General Flynn, it's an honor, a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. And everybody that's here today, please share this. Make sure the word gets out, because the people that run these platforms do not want this show to get out. They don't want the word to get out at all. And so we will see you next time on the show. Thank you again.
One of these days, Mary, you and I will go out and paddle out on a lineup and catch some waves together.
Oh, absolutely. I got my board right here under the house, ready to go.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right.
I'll meet you. Okay. Take care,
God bless
General.
everybody. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks,
See ya.
everybody.
Yep, bye-bye.
And I am one of the biggest fans of MyPillow, because they have quality America First products that are just made right here in the country, and they last. We have the towels, and I have a big issue with towels that shrink up after the first washing. The MyPillow towels stay color fast, they stay in shape, and they stay that way for years after repeated washings. You can't ask for better. Plus, they actually work. When somebody buys from MyPillow using the promo code Mary Grace, that does a couple of things. It brings in a little bit of an affiliate commission to our company, and it helps us to pay the bills, keep the lights on, keep the internet going, travel to places that we do to give you remote content. And it also helps MyPillow by giving them the support of people who genuinely value quality and companies that support real people right here in the United States and employ people all over this country and give back to this country. Go directly to mypillow.com, use promo code Mary Grace, and buy everything you need for the home. There's no need to spend time shopping anywhere else. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code Mary Grace, get your towels, pillows, sheets, robes, dog beds, pet beds, cat beds, whatever it is that you want for the home. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Mary Grace. It's easy. Don't waste your time anywhere else. mypillow.com, promo code Mary Grace. Thank you. Listen, your health is your best investment. We have a country to save, and we need people who are in the best shape of their lives, physically, mentally, spiritually. Why not connect with a team who cares about you on every single level from the inside out? Official Synapse is that team. Officialsynapse.com. It's official, SYNAPSE.com. Tell them Mary Grace sent you, and they will treat you like family. If you're like most people, you really probably haven't thought about transferring your paper dollars into physical gold and silver. But I want to tell you a story. My friend Andrew Sorcini over at Beverly Hills Precious Metals, he recently went overseas and he wanted to buy a watch. He likes fine watches. He took 3 currencies with him. He took gold, he took Bitcoin, and he took American dollars. Now, there used to be a time when the American dollar was king. I remember that when I used to travel overseas. Everybody wanted dollars. The people that he was dealing with would not take his dollars because the dollar is so devalued around the world. They wanted the gold. So this is what I recommend to you. I want you to think about this. If you have cash in the bank, if you have an investment account that you have worked hard for years to accumulate, consider the value of converting that money into physical gold and silver. You're not buying something that's losing value. You're changing those worthless dollars into a tangible physical asset that will go up in value, which it has done historically. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to bh-pm.com. The first thing you're going to do is schedule that free consultation. Second thing, just think rationally about this, pray about it, go to the Lord, see what the best decision for you and your family is. I can't tell you that. I don't want to pressure you into that. What I do know is don't be scared, be prepared. And so the third thing you want to do is make a decision for you and your family. Make a decision, take action. bh-pm.com. Let them know Mary Grace sent you. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who watches this show. Thank you for being a participant. Thank you for being a loyal audience member. I just want to remind you, if you like what you've seen, please share this and don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and also sign up for my email list so you never miss a show.